I'm not going to trust a health guy who can't keep a shirt on while working out. I missed it. The thing about basically every single fitness video that's on the internet is they always have some big preamble, and then ultimately the content doesn't come until like 5 minutes in. So I'm not going to waste your time. Thank you very much for watching and sharing and liking the previous No Gym video that I put up. So I wanted to do a fitness Q&A, go through your comments and answer some of your questions. How long was that? Let's get started. All right, so first question comes from Avalon 00. I'm curious to see what his diet is like because I found I only get chiseled when I focus on diet. So honestly, I've never really felt like chiseled in my entire life. You're always going to compare yourself to other people. And that being said, I've never really ever like hunkered down and been like, I'm going to count my calories and count my macros or anything like that. I generally try and make diet and nutrition easy for myself. That means if I don't want to be eating cookies, I don't buy cookies. It's just kind of about being aware of what you're putting in your body and whether or not it's good for you and whether or not it's bad for you. Mecha Sushi X, good vid. Any skills you think you'll integrate into your routine once you have access to weights? Absolutely, yeah. Even though the whole calisthenics thing wasn't for me, there's a ton of stuff that I would love to be able to do. Flexibility, mobility, planches and handstands and all kinds of weird stuff. And I want to keep practicing those. Even though I am lifting weights, I want to make sure I carve out time in my routine, whether it's in a warm up or a cool down that lets me practice those skills. I don't know, maybe try and set a goal for myself to do a freestanding handstand push-up or something like that before I'm dead. Okay, so we got a couple comments in a row that are all kind of in the same vein. Totally on board with the James Willems Fitness Podcast. I would absolutely listen to a James Willems Fitness Podcast. I'd definitely listen to a fitness podcast. I'll support your podcast. Do a fitness podcast. Lots of people asking for a podcast. That's great. I would love to do that if I had the time. And I think the most important thing is I couldn't do it on my own. So I'd want to make sure that I'm doing it with someone that knows what they're talking about and I have a good rapport with. But so it's, I mean, unless I can think of someone like that, I just can't think. Who? If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments who would be good to do a fitness podcast with. Jumbo Fit. I remember about 2013-ish when I first saw James at Inside Gaming and I'm like, damn, this dude is jacked and I used to be 230 pounds of pure fat at 6 foot. I think he unconsciously inspired me to be fit. Thanks, James. No, that is awesome to hear. I don't even remember being that jacked. Honestly, some people are like, James is jacked. I'm really not that big. I've never cracked 200 pounds. I reserve certain pedestals of jacktitude for certain size people. But I genuinely am glad that you're able to look to a place like that and feel inspired. Fiery, James, have you thought of trying DDP yoga? Just wondering if you had any thoughts on it. I have never done DDP yoga specifically, but I love yoga in general. And I did, for my dad, buy him a year's subscription of DDP yoga because I thought it'd be a good entry point for him. And he ended up doing it. So I think DDP yoga is like a great entry point for people who don't think yoga is for them. And DDP yoga is more about, well, let's focus on the movements and stuff like that. So I think it's a great entry point. And then beyond that, there's a ton of progress you can make with DDP yoga. So I fully endorse it. Brendan Sorichetti, this is amazing, man. I'm an instructor at Barry's Bootcamp in Canada, and we had to translate everything to online, so seeing your commitment is inspiring. That's awesome. I've never been to a Barry's Bootcamp, but I hope that if things get back to normal and I go to Canada, I could visit yours. I would like to get my butt kicked, because I have seen videos, and it seems brutal. I don't want to throw up. Chris Cole, would this be a good workout for someone 300 pounds like myself? I think it could be. It's hard to emphasize in the video, but there's a ton of scaling that you can do to the program. So, you know, if a push-up seems impossible, you can do it on your knees. You can do it. They show you all the progressions. Like you can do a push-up leaning towards a wall. And then as you get better, you can then shift your progression. And then you might have to start the routine over so that way you can get the full benefit of it. But yeah, it can totally be scaled and work for many people. QX, I love you, James, but it is so hard to take you serious when you're doing serious stuff. I mean, you're such a comedian on Funhouse, whack whack. Don't pressure me to conceive you as a normal human being. It will take time for me. Smile, open mouth, smile, wink. I'm a multifaceted human being. I can do more than one thing sometimes. I guess I can do more than one thing, but only if I turn off the other thing. I don't know. I would love to figure out a way to combine the two so that way you're like, God, this fitness video is really funny. but I'm working on it. So Dan the Man 7913 Muscle Party crossover when? I would say as soon as it's safe to do so. And I don't mean just the state of the world. I mean when I know that I'm going to go over there and not get blown up by a firecracker or cut in half by a knight's sword or something like that. David O'Connell, in relation to old injury, did you notice any benefit/improvement over the gym in relation to inflexibility or the bad posture strange injuries related to working at a desk? I mean, I guess that's kind of a bigger question about everything. I did notice that certain nagging injuries had an opportunity to heal when I was working out at home, but that's only because I probably wasn't able to stress those areas and those muscles enough doing just stuff with my own body weight or bands. It's a sign that if you're going to the gym and you're injured, you should probably ease off because that injury isn't just gonna heal magically. I don't know if it's the things I did. You know, there's definitely more focus on being able to move your body for calisthenics, and that's important for injury prevention as opposed to just moving big weights. So it's tough. I mean, I think there's a give and take. Gabrielle Donovan, do you have any other recommendations for calisthenic workout plans? I think it looks interesting, but $130 for the base level seems a bit steep to me if it doesn't work for me. Totally valid. Otherwise, I appreciate the video. Have you been feeling like a slug not biking around as much anymore? You can always do something on YouTube and it's amazing, which is search something, then follow along. And I recommend this for a lot of stuff: yoga, warm-up routines. Someone was asking me the other day about kettlebell stuff, but the same goes for like bodyweight routine. Search for follow along on YouTube and you're gonna find a ton of stuff. Now, it might not have the progression concerns that you might get from something you pay for. You're gonna have to do that homework yourself, as opposed to just doing the same YouTube video every single day. But you could totally build your own routine without paying a single penny for it, just using pieces of things on YouTube. Cyric, the Atlantic, shows a picture of the Pacific. Thank you for noticing. I think only one other person may have noticed that, but I appreciate it. Your attention to detail. You can post that in the movie details subreddit. Okay, I also wanted to pull a couple questions I posted on the community side of the YouTube channel and ask some of the channel members to throw me some questions, so I'm pulling from here as well. Joe Roberts, as a beginner, is there any consistent, reliable way to tell good fitness advice from bad fitness advice? And this is like the best question ever, except that the answer is terrible because the answer is no. Honestly, you can learn and you can inform yourself, but there is so much misinformation out there. I would actually say that if you search on YouTube, you're probably gonna find things that are closer to correct than incorrect. But if you go to a grocery store and pick up a fitness magazine, almost all of that is garbage. If it's either garbage or it's the same stuff reconfigured so that way they can sell it to you again, because the mystery on how to be in shape has been solved. People know how it works. It's just a matter of putting in the effort to do it. And I'm sorry, that sucks. And honestly, sometimes things that work for individuals don't work for other individuals. I could suggest something here to you that is perfect for me, and it might be completely wrong for you. But I think the more you do it and the more you understand, and never diving too much into one thing and keeping an open mind for other things, are gonna help you feel confident in calibrating yourself to know what works for you and what doesn't. Matt Kid Rosk, did you have an athletic but nerdy person as a role model while growing up? This is a great question, and I think the answer is no. Where I kind of ended up is an amalgamation of all the things I was interested in. So I would watch big action movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would watch professional wrestling, and I would get this perception of really big muscular dudes, and like that's how I wanted to look. But then I would also play video games and I'd watch anime, and I do all kinds of stuff. I mean, comic books are filled with the most unrealistically jacked human beings on the planet, men and women. But no, I can't think of one person specifically that I was like, holy cow, this person is nerdy and a fitness role model. Building on that, Benjamin McPherson says, I know you have mentioned before that you apply a video game enhancement to working out for motivation. Could you elaborate on how you visualize and weigh leveling up? I don't know, it's not really visualizing, it's just like knowing that the process of exercising, especially when it comes to lifting weights, is feeling like something is difficult and hard to do, so that way the next time it's easier. That just kind of like aligns in my brain with fighting a boss that's difficult and then going back and then leveling against smaller monsters and then coming back and beating the boss again. Working out and kind of like looking at where your progress is, writing it down and keeping track of it is like kind of works in the same way. Frank Gannon, what versatile, affordable equipment is good for a small apartment, or is it better to start with calisthenics until I'm on a roll? Again, it's kind of a personal thing. I would say the last thing you want to do for yourself is feel like you need to buy in, like physically with money, to being fit, because you really don't. So for that sake, I would say calisthenics purely because you can use your body weight, you don't have to invest any of your own money, and once you know that you're like hooked on it, then you can figure out how you can budget your life to accommodate this thing that you love to do and this thing that can be really good for you. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I'm totally going to do one of these again. This is really great and this was a lot of fun, and I want you guys to continue asking and criticizing me in these videos. You can be nice about it, but like if you have questions or concerns about anything that I say or suggest, let me know, because that's how I learn, and I think that's how everyone learns. One last thing, at the end of the last video, I said I was investigating new ways to try and figure out how I could be happier with the fitness in my life. And well, I think I figured something out. So I'm building my own gym. I found a place to do it, and so I would love to show you guys more on that as soon as I have it. And I think it'll be really cool, because I think if I have that space, it'll be easier for you to make content and share kind of that experience and anything that I pick up or learn along the way. I really would love to do some streaming workouts. I think that'd be a lot of fun for people to gather together over a fitness experience. So I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited, and I'm gonna be back really soon with more information on all of this. Thank you guys so much for watching, supporting the previous video, watching this video. I hope it's interesting. And I'll see you guys soon. Stay healthy, stay happy.